When you think of the stock market, what comes to mind? Glass towers, glowing screens, people in sharp suits? But let you in on a little secret. Modern finance wasn't born in some cold marble palace. It was born in a noisy, crowded little room that smelled of coffee, quite literally right next to a steaming cup. So come on, let's take a little trip back to London in the late 1600s. It's the 1680s. Right in the heart of London, there's a narrow little lane called Exchange Alley, and on that lane sits a coffee house opened by a man named Jonathan, simply called Jonathan's. The moment you step through the door, you're hit with the rich smell of coffee, tables packed shoulder to shoulder, and a hum of voices that never quite stops. Back then, coffee houses weren't just places to drink coffee, they were information hubs, where people caught up on the news, traded gossip, and sealed deals. They even had a nickname, penny universities. For 1 penny, you got a cup of coffee, and in return, you walked out with the freshest information of the day. So what made this ordinary-looking room so special? Well, right around 1698, something interesting happened. The Royal Exchange, London's official trading hall, threw out its brokers for being far too rowdy. And where do you think those brokers went? You guessed it, straight to the coffee houses nearby, Jonathan's and Garraway's. From then on, merchants, speculators, and brokers gathered around these tables, buying and selling shares of the new companies springing up, and closing deals with a handshake right beside their coffee. There was no official building, no written rulebook, just people, coffee, and a whole lot of mutual trust. And here's where a true fintech hero steps onto the stage, John Castaing. This broker of Huguenot descent came up with an idea that was simple yet absolutely revolutionary. He started writing down the prices of stocks and commodities on a regular list and pinned it right to the wall of the coffee house. He called it the course of the exchange and other things. Just think about that for a second. For the very first time, everyone could see the same price at the same time. Those live blinking numbers scrolling across our screens today, this pinned-up sheet of paper was their ancestor. What Castaing was really doing was laying one of the cornerstones of finance, transparency and shared price information. And that humble little list would go on to become one of the longest-running financial publications in the world. Now, like every good story, this one had its shadows too. These very rooms also played host to one of history's greatest financial bubbles, the South Sea Bubble, those feverish days when people chased fortunes, and most of them walked away heartbroken. In 1748, a fire burned Jonathan's to the ground, but the coffee house rose right back up from the ashes. By 1773, the brokers had built a place of their own, calling it first New Jonathan's and soon after simply the Stock Exchange. Yes, the seed of the London Stock Exchange we know today was planted in that very room, thick with the smell of coffee. And just down the lane, another coffee house, Lloyd's, would go on to give birth to the most famous insurance market in the world. So, the next time you wrap your hands around a warm cup of coffee, remember this: modern finance isn't the product of giant institutions. It's the product of people, of conversation, of trust, and a little bit of curiosity. It all began at a small table, right beside a warm cup. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with a friend you'd love to grab a coffee with. Until we meet again, somewhere in the dusty pages of financial history, take care of yourself.